Okay, today I'm going to show you how to make a healthy, low-fat barbecue chicken and roasted vegetable couscous. Okay guys, a bit of an odd camera angle. I'm working in the kitchen of our caravan while we're down on holiday, a family caravan while we're down on holiday, so it's all over the place. I'm new to this cooking vlog scene, so bear with me. Today I'm going to be showing you how to make a healthy, low-fat barbecue chicken and roasted vegetable couscous. It's about 300 calories. We'll go through the calorie breakdown in a minute. I'll show you all the ingredients. I'll tell you why they're nutritionally sound. And take you through the cooking step by step. Hopefully you'll like it. So yeah, let's move on. Firstly, we got. I'll take you through the vegetables that we're going to be using. Okay, so main constituents obviously going to be the couscous and the chicken. So the couscous, easy. It comes in a nice little bag. Little rolled balls of durum wheat semolina. Beautiful, fantastic nutritionally. It's mainly carbs and some protein, sugar and fat free. So it's a great way of bulking up your diet. Otherwise, you need some sort of staple in there, don't you? Really. 2 chicken breasts. Can't go wrong with chicken. Lean white meat, plenty of protein, low in fat, especially if it's grilled as it is on the barbecue, because a lot of that fat will all run out. We have also got the other main nutritional element of this is the bell pepper. Okay, we've got 2 bell peppers. They're a good source of antioxidants and vitamin C. Cracking vegetable. Also got onion, some cherry tomatoes, and stock. This is a vegetable stock. You can of course use meat stock if you want. I looked for the low salt stock. Unfortunately the local shop here just didn't have it, but you get a low sodium stock, so it reduces the salt, makes it that much more healthy. Okay, if you don't cook much, it can be fairly daunting. You look at the list of the ingredients, you think, well, I've not got any of that, not got any of that, not got any of that. It's going to cost me a fortune. I'm not going to do it. I'll make something more convenient. I'm well aware of this. All these ingredients are easily accessible, but if you want to make something straight out of the fridge with what you've got, there's plenty of alternatives you can use. Instead of the chicken, of course, you can use any meat, any fish. I would suggest, realistically, lean meats. Most fish is lean, obviously. You look at the salmon and such like, you get a bit of a fat content, but certainly better than red meats. But if you're going to get red meat, try and get a lean cut or an extra lean cut. It cuts down on the fat, much better. For the onion, I've got a large white onion here. You could use red onions. You could use spring onions. I think they're called scallions over in the States. You could use shallots if you wanted to. Plenty of options. Leeks. Throw in a bit of garlic if you wanted to. There's plenty of options. I've got fresh cherry tomatoes. You could have of course use sun-dried tomatoes, preserved tomatoes. You could use normal store-bought tomatoes. You could use anything really, any tomato base. I mean, if you just want to flavour it up, you've got tomato puree, which you could chuck in as well. And we've got the chicken stock. Sorry, we've got a vegetable stock, but you could use a chicken stock. You could use a half sodium, a reduced sodium stock. Like I've said, you could use lamb stock. You could use whatever you wanted, any form of stock there. The stock is there purely to flavour the couscous. Couscous is a carrier really. That's there to bulk up the meal. It's not got much taste itself. But you put the stock in it, you rehydrate it with the stock, and obviously that soaks up all the flavour of the stock. Okay, so that's what we're doing. That's why we're doing it. That's what you could use instead if you haven't got the ingredients we've got here. So let's stop talking about it and just get on with it, shall we? First thing I'm going to do is cut up the veg. Bear with me 1 second. What I'm going to do is attempt to cook the veg on the barbecue at the same time as the meat. So what I've got here is a simple tinfoil tray. I folded it in at the corner, double thick. You can see this double thickness. Laid 2 layers of tinfoil on top of each other. Fold it up at the sides, fold it over twice at the ends to form this little tray. And I've sprayed it with spray light, so it should hopefully be non-stick. That's what the veg is going to go into. essential tool, nice sharp knife, makes your life so much easier. Okay, so I'm going to start off with the bell peppers. Take the top off. Scoop out the insides. Right, this white section inside and all the seeds, you can eat them, they are edible. But a lot of people find them bitter and difficult to eat. They just take the edge off of the meal. So best thing to do is scoop it out and get rid of them all. Okay, so that's the green. Same process for the yellow one. And I'm going to chop them. I tend to chop along the vein. You'll see you've got lines down them. I tend to chop along them simply because they're there. And then slice them into lengths. It's going into the couscous. So we'll chop widthways as well, so they're into nice smallish pieces. Once chopped, again, straight into the foil tray. Of course, I said about the alternatives, there's nothing really, like I say, the couscous is a carrier of flavour, so it's a case of twisting this to your taste, really. If you want to use jalapenos or Scotch bonnets or something of that ilk to give the dish a kick, nothing wrong with that at all. No issue whatsoever. If you don't like peppers, don't use them. Use a different veg. They are, like I say, a great source of antioxidants and good source of vitamin C. If you're getting plenty of vitamin C through your diet from fruit and stuff you eat, so be it. Change it out. But it's a lovely low-fat, healthy meal, this. So give it a try. But enough. Okay, so that's all the peppers in. Next we got is the onion. Just top and tail it. I find it easiest then cut it in half and peel off the outside layer. I'm sure there's other people out there. I'm not trained in any way, shape or form. It's probably already showing. I'm self-taught as far as cooking. As you know, I'm a big lad. I like my food. It's not all, I'm not this way purely because of fast food. I like to cook as well. So I like to take the top and the bottom off the onion, peel back the first layer of skin, which will take all the paper with it, and then slice the halves. Again, nice and small. You don't want it to take too long to roast, and when it goes into the couscous, you don't want big lumps of onion, do you? So once again, all into the tray. Throwing it all over the floor. I'll get them later. I won't put them into the dish, I promise. The tomatoes are a matter of taste. Paula doesn't like tomato, so I'm not going to put them in until right at the end. What I'll do is I'll mix all this lot with the couscous, once the couscous has been rehydrated with the stock, and then I'll quarter the tomatoes. I'll show you, of course. I'll quarter the tomatoes and put them in. Okay, you might be able to hear a bit of noise in the background. Next step is going to be to, next step I've done is to get the barbecue on. Typical British barbecue. I'll take you out there in a short while, but it's been hammering down all day. It's grey and horrible. The barbecue's soaking wet through on the top at the moment, but that'll soon boil off. By the way, if any of you want pointing and laughing at the moment, watching the fat man cry, the onions are getting to me. Two pieces of advice there. Some people say cut them underwater. Never tried it myself, but that will stop the juices getting airborne and making you cry. The other is a really sharp knife. This isn't too bad, but they're pretty strong onions. So yeah, if you see the tears running down my face, it's not nerves, it's not that I'm unhappy, it's the onions getting to me, I promise. So yeah, I've got the barbecue on, that's heating up now. We'll throw everything in there shortly. You'll see I've got a non-slip sheet in there as well, a non-stick sheet in there. It's perfect, personal preference, it stops it sliding. What I'll probably do is brown the chicken on either side fairly quickly, then chuck it on the bars so the fat can slip away through the bars, and the veg will sit on the non-slip sheet. Noise we got going on in the background is the kettle, which I'm boiling up the water ready for the couscous. Couscous needs to be mixed 1 part couscous with 1 part water. So we're going to be using 200 millilitres of stock once I've mixed the boiling water with the stock cube to 200 grams of couscous. They recommend 60 grams of couscous per person per portion. I'm a big lad. That seems ridiculously small to me. I'm going to go for 100 grams, which is nearly two recommended portions, but that's still only 112 calories. Personally, I'd rather fill up on that at 112 calories than bulk up on the meat or the more calorific, expensive element of the meal, or have a small meal and then an hour later be hungry and turn to chocolate or cake or whatever to fill myself up. Okay, so the kettle's boiled. Let's have a crack at the couscous, show you what we're doing with the couscous. Okay, so the kettle's boiled. Let's have a crack at the couscous, show you what we're doing with the couscous. Okay, so we're going to have to rehydrate the couscous. That'll be done in the saucepan on the hob. But first off, take the stock cube, unwrap it, drop it into a jug, and we want 200 mils of boiling water. So that's 200 mils in there. Stir it until the stock cube dissolves. I mean, you can see this is it's a lovely stock. It's dissolved straight away. So I'll push that to one side for a second. As far as I'm concerned, this is going to be a fairly rough science. I don't know if you can see it, I think it's probably just off camera. But please, 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 whenever you're cutting, cut away from yourself. Don't cut towards yourself, because if the knife slips, you've got a big lump of you in the meal, and that's going to alter the calorific content. Right, this bag has got 500 grams. So we want 2/5 of it. I'd say that was about right. And into that goes the stock. See, there's some dregs in the bottom there, so I'm going to put just a tiny bit of water just to dissolve that. So we don't want to miss out on all that goodness. We're claiming the calories, we might as well eat them, eh? So that goes into there. You can see it thickening up already. Okay, that's onto the hob on a low heat. Bring that to the boil till it starts boiling, then we'll leave it off to soak up the water. It shouldn't take any time at all because we've already put boiling water in there. In fact, that's bubbling already, literally 10-15 seconds, and the couscous is soaking up all the water. So I'm going to take it off the heat immediately. You can see that's soaked up immediately. It's fluffing up nicely. So if we leave that there for the time being, I'll turn you off briefly, take you outside, and I'll show you what I'm doing with the barbecue. Okay, outside the van now. You can see, I mean, you saw how lovely and green and sunny and beautiful it was when we got back from the walk the other day. Less so now. Okay, so the barbecue's been heating for a short while. You can probably see from the front there, it's getting up towards 200 degrees. So we're going to start chucking the stuff in. You remember I mentioned the non-slip sheet. This is this section here, non-stick sheet. So I'm going to do, just to brown off the chicken, let's get it on here initially. Scallops come off, but we'll leave that on there to brown. Leave that on there to brown off. Shut the lid so we can get the heat up there. Build it into a stage where it's almost roasting as well. Okay, so while that's cooking, and it'll take a few minutes, I guess probably 20 minutes all told, by the time we've turned the chicken a couple of times and given the veg a mix. I'm going to take these 6 cherry tomatoes, adds a nice bit of colour, nice bit of flavour, a bit of extra sweetness to the couscous as well. And I'm just going to slice them in lengthways twice, so you've got the quarters. And as I've mentioned before, the couscous is a carrier for flavour. So when you stir these in, all this juice is going to be soaked up by the couscous, which is going to add to the dish. Like I say, I'm not going to do it until the last minute, though. I'm going to slip half the couscous away, because Paula doesn't like the tomatoes. I'll show you the two dishes separately, but this will just add an extra bit of red. I could have put a red pepper in for the red colour and make it more aesthetically pleasing, but because I had the cherry tomatoes going in, I thought I'll use the green and the yellow peppers. Unless, of course, I actually did use the red pepper, I can't remember now, in which case I'll have to edit this section out. Okay, so I'll sit there waiting for the couscous. Wish you guys could smell this. It's flavour's coming off nicely. The smell's coming off nicely already. A high heat, get a nice browning on the chicken. Keep the veg agitated. You can see we'll keep the veg agitated. You can see the steam coming off them already. So it's getting nice and warm. One of the benefits, of course, of being follically challenged is when it starts raining like it has done now, you can feel it straight away because there's absolutely no hair to block the rain. It's starting to come down now. Hopefully I'm not going to be stood out there in about 10 minutes time with the rain pouring down trying to get the food finished. Okay, so I said to you I'd go into the calorie breakdown. Dead simple. The couscous per person, 112 calories. Like I say, I've used 100 grams. They recommend 60 grams, but I would rather up the quantity of the couscous. It's a few extra calories, but it's nothing massive, and that's still not, for the staple, for the main part of the meal, that's still not massive. And then the chicken breast is 165, roughly 165 calories per breast. The bell peppers, you've got half of a bell pepper each, half of 2 bell peppers, so a whole bell pepper each, coming in at about 20 calories. 1 large onion, so half of that's about 32 calories. The cherry tomato is about 18, and the chicken stock comes in at about 30 calories. So all told, you're looking at 347, so around 350 calories. It's not bad for the main meal of the day, your main your calorie source. Okay, so the rain's starting to come down. It's 5:30, and it's already this dark in what are we, August? It isn't it? Beginning of August. It's ridiculous, but hey, such is life. Such is the British summer. Even Bert doesn't want to come out because the weather's so bad. So that's how we're looking now. That's how we're looking now. Agitate the veg a bit. Look at the little scallop. That's not looking too bad at all. In fact, I'm going to move that over onto the bar. Okay, it's pouring down out there, so I thought I'd bring them in. You can see the veg has softened off nicely. The bottom of the pan is starting to brown. That's pretty much there, pretty much one. And beauty with the foil is the second you take it off the heat, it's pretty much good to touch. So all I'm going to do is take the pot of couscous, pour the veg in, a couple of bits stuck on the bottom. I'm going to do my level best to get them off because all that brown caramelised juice will be just gorgeous. Okay, so that's most of it in there. And just stir that through. I took, because I can't help fiddling with the food as I'm going through, I took a spoon. I started off with a fork, but you really should be using a spoon because you don't want to take the non-stick off the pan. And turned it through the couscous. Okay, lightened up the couscous. It tends to rehydrate into not a block, but a fairly dense mix. So if you stir that through, puts the air in it, and much more light and fluffy. There you go, looking much better already. Left the chicken on the barbecue because you don't want to mess around with chicken. You really don't want undercooked chicken. Just going to wipe the surface down. Throwing it all over the place already. So that's the base for Paula's. Chucking the tomatoes in, as you can see, and stir them through. All that couscous will be soaking up all that flavour now, which will be gorgeous, absolutely delightful. Plate up mine. It's obviously not restaurant quality plating, but it's there. Okay, I'll be quick about this because it's raining quite nice there, quite rapidly now, and I don't want to ruin my phone. Don't want to mess with chicken. You've got to make sure it's cooked. That little bit will be for sure. It's looking good on the outside. What I like to do is just open it. And it looks white all the way through there. There's no pink in the middle, which is superb. So what you can do is stab it and squeeze it, and if the fluid that comes out, the juices that come out are clear, then it's cooked. Okay, I don't know if you can see the rain on my head. It's absolutely spanking down out there now. And this is the result. Lovely couple of pieces of barbecue chicken. There's a little bit of charring on the outside. I think it just adds to the flavour. It looks burnt, but it's we'll call it caramelised. You see that? Cooked all the way through. Not a hint of pink. Lovely. Because it's been cooked on the barbecue, that'll have its own certain flavour, which will be fantastic. Again, cooked right through. Let's get it served. Okay, so there you have it. My low fat, healthy barbecue chicken and roasted vegetable couscous with tomatoes and without. Hope you've enjoyed watching. Hope you tried to cook it. And I'm going to turn off the camera now, and I hope I enjoy eating it. If you've liked what you've seen, as always, please folks, like, comment and subscribe on YouTube. If you subscribe and check your notifications, you'll always be made aware of when my vlogs are coming. I'm doing my level best to do this almost full time now, so I should be getting 2, 3, maybe 4 vlogs up a week. Like I say, trail news, food, and getting out on the trails themselves, doing some backpacking, doing some day walking, urban trails, the works. So like, comment, subscribe on YouTube, please. On Facebook, you could do me a massive favour on Facebook by liking, commenting, but more importantly, sharing. A couple of clicks on that share button, and it'll disappear out to all of your friends. It opens my channel up to a lot more people. The more I grow, the more time and effort I'll be able to spend on this, which is fantastic. You're going to reap the rewards in the long run. So like, comment, and share on Facebook. We're on Twitter at Trail Trials, and on Instagram as well at Trail Trials. So come and look me up on them platforms, and I look forward to seeing you again on YouTube.